Hi, I'm your host Queenie Crystal, and today's guests are fellow podcaster Kelechi and content creator Martha. On this episode, we discuss all things marriage, referencing the movie Why Did I Get Married? So don't forget to
grab a cuppa and popcorn because you're about to get some life lessons from some of your favourite TV shows or movies. This is Life, Movies and Tea.
Honest, I'm going to start by saying I still can't believe Kel's married. And I don't mean that in a demeaning way. I'm just like...
I think Kel can't believe Kel's married, if I'm being honest with you.
How does it feel?
To be honest with you, I think we're both the type of people that we don't really... we try not to think about it too much. Because I think, like, that's the best way. Like, if you think about it too much, it might get a bit overwhelming. So... we just act as if we're still boyfriend and girlfriend. And we still act as if we're young.
You are young.
Yeah.
No, we are young. But just to say as well, like we've only been married like a year, so it's not been anything too crazy. But it's been fun, and we try not to think about it too much.
But you sure have probably learned a lot of lessons, right?
Oh yes. Yeah.
Was it what you expected?
Again, I think, again, we're both like, sorry to probably speak on her behalf too much, but I think that we are both like similar people in the sense that we don't like, we didn't go into it with too many expectations. Like, we're very low key people. And yeah, we didn't make too much of a big deal out of it. And is it what I've expected? Well, I didn't have too many expectations. So it's not been too bad. And like I said, we don't act as if we're married, so it's okay. It's not bad. It's not bad.
Okay. No, I like that. Because in the movie, obviously they've been married for a long time.
Sorry. This movie
yeah.
terrible. Let's just say that to begin with.
Oh, you didn't like it?
It's shocking. It's just, I mean, I loved it and I hated it at the same time. Like, I thought it was the worst thing I've watched, but also one of the funniest things I've watched. Do you know when something's so bad it's good? I think.
Yeah. I feel like that man, the dark-skinned brother, he played his role so well that, like, if I was see him on the road, I'd be like,
which is he the one with the woman?
Yeah. Yeah.
The mean one. How can someone be that mean?
Yeah, but that's what I mean. I think for me, the movie was a bit too. It moved too much. Like, I don't think there's any guy that's that mean to like a person, if I'm being honest. And I don't feel like there's a woman that's that tolerate. Well, I hope not. Yeah, do you get what I'm saying? Like, it was too much. It was a bit uncomfortable, and it kind of took the reality out of it because it was so uncomfortable, if I'm being honest.
Because for me, it was like, I wanted to ask, can someone change in marriage? Because why did she get married if he's so mean? I mean...
Well, yeah, this is what I mean. Like, yeah. But obviously, like, that's just one scenario. But I mean, it was funny, wasn't it? But I think it had to be that way to be funny. Like,
But
I think it was, yeah.
For me, I think like don't people go through like different seasons? So initially, maybe obviously because she looked a certain type of way, he didn't have a problem. But like when obviously like she gained a bit of weight, that's when that person came out as well. But that's not to say like he was not always like that. But maybe like one of them people like they're a bit like rude with their jokes, but like it's only to other people up until like they do it to you, kind of thing.
To be honest with you, I was just purely talking about the film. I haven't started breaking down the scenarios yet. We'll get to that. It's okay.
No, but
the film itself was a bit mad. I was thinking, what the hell is this? Like, how did this get made? Like, it's terrible. That is too much, man.
I'm not gonna lie, with Tyler Perry movies, it's one of them ones where you just have to ignore all of because someone pointed out that the snow on the top of the thing was just a sheet and I couldn't unsee it.
Nah. It's almost too it's also a bit predictable. Anyways, I feel like I'm going into like a black hole on the film. Let's get into the real stuff. Go on, hit
No,
me.
no, but I do want to know, like, in that sense, that couple, because what you're saying, Martha, is probably a reality that you get married, maybe it's a good season, you guys get married, and then that person has probably always been in him, but
Mm.
because he never had to come out, because he must have
Yeah.
treated her lovely at some point, because it's the bit for me. I mean, I was laughing and I felt bad at times when he's saying, "You're gonna walk, you're gonna,"
What? Like, sir.
and she's just. I don't like that
Okay.
kind of victimness because that one there was too much. She's just there like, okay, are you
Yeah.
mad? Who is like
Well,
that?
well, yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to say at the start. Like it's a bit much, but at the end of the day, though, at the end of the day, though, there are probably relationships where
Yeah.
like that
Yeah.
does happen, which is sad. And I guess
Yeah.
it's and also maybe like like in African backgrounds and stuff like that, like where the women are like taught to just be submissive and
Mm.
just
Mm.
whatever happens, like they bear it and just keep going just to because even though the man was like so mean to her, like she still wanted to make an effort for him. Like, do you
Yeah.
get me? Which was kind of heartbreaking. Like,
Yeah.
because you mentioned there that he was like, walk. I mean, it's funny, isn't it? My guy was like, I am paying for T6. My guy was like, you know about this? Nah, that's Terry was like, what? But even when she was like driving, she was like, I have to make it to this place to make my marriage work. And I'm there thinking, what are you trying to make work? Like why? But there are women out there that have that mindset, that's like
Mm.
no matter what happens, like I have to make this work. And it's like it's almost as if the idea or the stigma or like the pressures of divorcing or like leaving a relationship is worse than what you're actually going through. And
Mhm.
that's crazy. And that's something that I guess is highlighted or can be highlighted from all the craziness that it was covered in.
Because for me, it's one of those ones like, how do you make sure that you're not marrying someone like that? Because you don't want to be too. Because for me, I'm so fearful of that committing to someone and then they one day they wake up and they're talking about walk. How do I get fat now and see if we can handle it? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, what was your process until you finally thought, okay, this is the one? And I don't even know if you believe in that concept, or did you just step out in faith? Like, what's it like? You don't
I
have to
don't
go into too much detail if you don't want to, but yeah.
Nah, it's all good. I'm an open book. Um, do I believe in the one? Probably not. Well, it depends on what the one means, but um, I believe the one I married is the one for me, right? But I don't know if she was the only one, or maybe she is. I don't know, and I don't really care too much about that. Like, mostly because there's been a lot of trial and error, and then the reasons why the other relationships haven't worked wasn't because they weren't the one. It's just because we didn't we didn't see eye to eye on certain things. It's as simple as that. Do you get me? But like with this person that I did marry, we did see eye to eye on most things, if not everything, which is beautiful. So if that makes her the one for me, I'll take it. But in terms of like beforehand thinking, oh, there's only one person, nah, it's too specific and yeah, no. Um, but in terms of what made me what made me think she was the one? Yes, similar to what I was saying before, like so there was a lot of trial and error, and you learn from past relationships, right? And you kind of learn what's important and what isn't important. And I think for me, I learned that my faith, like having the same faith as me, or like some people would say belief system, like that was a big thing, probably the biggest thing. That's different to faith because there are so many people that are Christians, right? But the belief systems even within Christianity isn't the same. That's
Yeah.
also things that I learned. So it's more like what are the things that you believe? Like what's your belief system? Like what do you actually believe about God if you are a Christian? And like what do you believe about how a family should be? Like the roles. Because do you know what? Yeah, like I think, yeah. Let me try and keep it simple. So yeah, belief system. Obviously, I thought she was nice. That she looked after me. Like came from a good background. Like all those things. Like all played a part into why I thought this would be a good person to settle down with. Yeah. To keep
Oh,
it short and sweet.
no,
But if
I
you ask me
like that.
questions, I'll probably be able to like go into other things. But let me just not waffle on.
No, I like that. I like that. And I'll kind of pose the same question to you, Martha. Obviously, you're not married, but do you
Why?
believe?
She's not the guest. I'm the guest.
What is this? What is your problem?
Share with some. Do you believe in the one, and do you have a process in terms of when you will just say yes?
For me, I don't necessarily believe that there is the one. So I think like two people can come together and make it work. So that's my kind of process now. Before, I don't think I've actually ever believed in that, but it's always been like a movie thing, and you always think like, oh, there's that one person for you. But I feel like, yeah, there's too many people in the world for there to just be just one person. So for me, I just believe like two people can come together, then make it work. For me, try and error still in that season.
I'll pray
But
for
I
you,
would
sister.
say, sorry,
Nothing. It's okay.
I'm gonna watch you back. So for me, like the main thing would definitely be like my faith, and potentially similar to what Fletcher was saying about like values and beliefs and all the rest of it. And for me, I'm quite specific as well. My preference will be Zimbabwean, so like the cultural differences won't be different as well, just to minimize the differences kind of thing. So that's my process. So Christianity has to be like the main thing, and I feel like potentially that's why I've not struggled, but like not necessarily met the person, because loads of people do say like they are Christians, but like once you actually start having a conversation with them, it's very different. Yeah.
I like that you guys touched upon that you're not going to find that person with everything, so you're going to look at the qualities that you are looking for in a person, because the movie speaks about there's this 80-20 rule. Apparently, you're going to get 80% of what you need in a marriage, and then you might see 20% somewhere else and you'll be lured into that. But I guess 20% seems appealing when you feel like that's what's lacking, and then sometimes some people will leave their 80 for their 20. So it's like that.
I just thought it was
You
so
don't
crazy.
believe in it.
Oh,
It's
you don't
just-
believe in it?
No, it's just the setup of the thing. It's just so boring. It's like, just
Do you
give me
think
a
it's
break.
5 to 25 then?
I'm tired of it. If I'm being honest, it's like it's just a simple thing of like when you like the grass is green on the other side. It's just as simple as that. Like it's not about 80%, 20%. Wait, it makes no sense. So what if in a marriage you feel like you're getting 40%? Like where? How do you quantify the percentages? Like what are you talking about? Like just it's like so that guy that's with the big woman, what percentage is he getting from? Is he getting from her? And like does that justify him going somewhere else? It makes no sense.
We should learn their names.
Yeah, but do you get me? Like it's just stupid. Yeah, it's just annoying. It annoyed me when I was watching it, and I'm annoyed you brought it up again. But yeah, it's just silly.
Raw.
The point is valid. Like
Yeah.
it's a thing of course when you get married, but you don't have to be married, mate. Like just in a relationship, like once you're
Yeah.
with someone, there's also the thing that people say, like for guys. I don't know if it's the same for girls, but like for guys, like once you get a girlfriend, that's when like every girl wants you. Like do you
Yeah.
get me? It's just like it's the point is valid, but 80-20%. I haven't got time for that. I'm
And then and then to press on more, so let's move on from that couple. The other couple that had the issue was around the whole female friend thing. That one there, yeah. Ooh. Well, it's still the same couple in a way, but yeah. What are your thoughts on that? Because from my understanding, was she a mutual friend, or was she more of the
She wasn't a friend to
He
anybody.
wasn't a friend
Wait, how
to
wait.
any of them.
No, she was a
She was a
friend to the
sidekick.
couple. She was a friend to the girl. No,
She
No.
wasn't a friend. She
No.
wasn't.
you're joking.
That's part of her, like,
The 20%.
Yeah. She was. I thought that. So why would she let a rant? I'm so confused. That is so
That's the thing.
weird.
He was so rude. He was so disrespectful. That man. To even
no,
invite.
do you remember when they all had like the big argument on the table and like secrets were spilling?
Yeah.
That's when it came out that he was actually having like an affair with her.
Yeah.
I thought she was her friend. She was her friend because that's how.
No.
So she just let a
No.
side chick come in front. That's crazy.
No,
They were never friends. I think they were like work colleagues or something like that.
because remember, like, because he came with her first because she was driving, and then he said that she's like a family friend, like she's like a friend of. Or I think she introduced herself as like the other woman's, the wife's friend. But then the girls were like, "Oh, if you're her friend, how come we don't know about you?"
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's kind of a clue that they're not really friends. It's just it's more the guy like wanting her to be involved.
To be there.
Because there's certain things like there was that couple and then it was Tyler Perry's couple. You know how it was his birthday and he invited his colleague over. I don't care how much we're arguing and they were having dinner together. Like, what are your thoughts on those kind of relationships with the opposite sex? Like your partner, your face says it all.
I knew I had a feeling this might come up.
Oh, sorry. I completely forgot. I didn't even mean it like that. I just caught you to offense.
I mean, we're very good friends. Let's put it out there. Let's put it out there. We friends. We friendly. But yeah. I mean, it's Martha. You take this one.
Okay. So for me, I think I'm very, I try to be like very clear. So I think before I did used to have like quite a few guy friends, but in a relationship, I would say I don't want my husband to be having some little Susan being his bestie. Like, no, that's not gonna run. And it's not like a double standard kind of thing because I feel the same as well. Because like if I say like my husband can't have friends, I'm not gonna have guy friends as well. So that's why when Kelechi got married, I tried to be friends with his wife, but it didn't quite. It was still in the process.
Take that bit out, please.
Yeah.
My wife loves everybody. Take that bit out,
I don't know
please.
how to word it. Especially if you say like, are we friends? Because my point is very clear. That's why it's a bit like, I don't know.
Okay then, Martha. So then, you tried to be friends with my wife, but then that didn't happen for whatever reason. So then why do you still stay friends with me?
Oh,
I don't know.
I'm
Because
getting
we
the
are-
pressure on you before it comes on me, boy. I'm getting the pressure on you before it turns on me.
I don't know. I don't know. I think we're definitely like good friends, but ideally, I think I would not want to have like guy friends because I just wouldn't want him to have like guy friends as well.
But no,
Because I
but that's exactly why I'm asking you the question. So then, why do you still?
This is not your podcast, by the way.
no, you
Leave
can
it
ask.
between
No, ask. You can ask your questions.
Yeah, like if that's what you think and if that's what you do, like, if you got married, then why not start now? Like why is it different with me and you?
I was in the process of doing that, and like I said, I'm still trying to process that, like how it's gonna work, But I don't think there's. I don't know. I'm still in the process of working it out. But ideally, I think I wouldn't want to entertain that kind of thing, and that's just my preference. And it's only because like I feel like sometimes you allow certain. I don't want there to be like room for any funniness. So I think that's why for me, I think that.
Okay. I think what I'm hearing is a little mini therapy session.
Okay.
What I'm hearing is you guys like transparency and boundary. So if it was more like a family friend, like instead of it becoming just Kel and you, it then became to Kel, you and your wife. And it's now like if she comes over, it's everybody. It's kind of like a mutual friend. Because I'm sure like our parents have mutual friends because that would I'm sure that you probably call them an auntie or uncle and you haven't realized they're not actually blood. So it's just because there's no way in life that you can just cut off. Because think about it, we're 29 years old. We've got 29 years worth of friendship and it's not been the same sex. And then just to go through life and then one day just being like, lock off, we're never going to talk again. But it's just the capacity. Because some people obviously would have like, let me ring you late at night. Let me da 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 da. You just have different boundaries, whether it's the same sex or not. Like I'm still not, I don't know if I would be doing the same to you when you're married, Martha. I have to respect that. So that's obviously if your wife had an issue with it, then that's a different story. But
Okay.
yeah.
So, first of all, I'm 28, not 29.
Oh, oh,
Secondly,
Sorry.
sorry.
I actually think you bring up a great point there, Queenie. Like in the sense of when you get married, I think all relationships, no matter the sex, like probably take a backward step, right? And yeah, I think that's a great point. But for me, like, so let me just actually go back to like the actual question and not swerve it. So with me and Martha, and I guess I was asking the question to Martha because I think I have a different belief system, and that belief system again is what I've said before of like not having too many expectations or like rules and regulations for after marriage. Like apart from those that are obviously clearly defined in the Bible kind of thing. Like obviously you do need rules and regulations to guide you. But like over and above that, not too much more. Like don't let culture get into it. Like don't let tradition get into it. Don't let what she said, he said, like don't let other people's opinions on what how they would do things get into it, you know? And just have a bit of an open mind. Like just live your life, you know, as if um all is equal and all is fine. Like I said, keeping to the like the rules of engagement from like the Bible kind of thing. Like am I clear on that? So then we get to like this kind of so then my approach is like, yeah, like don't have too many expectations. Just try and love each other, man. Like be good to each other, be honest to each other, like try and be a good person. Like, do you get me? Like, in however way that might play out. And don't be adding on rules like I need to cut off my friends just because they're a girl, right? Just that kind of thing. So then, so that's why I was asking you the question, and that's why, for me, Martha, like I could be friends with you because although I'm married, like I said, even me and Bissy, like we're married, but we don't dwell on that too much. Like we just act as if it was the same, you know, like not too much pressure. Like just be good to each other still. Keep it simple, keep it basic, and keep on living your life. And I think that's good. And that's why I can be friends with Martha, because I don't see so yeah, I actually brought up my age. So I'm 28 now. I got married at 26, just about. And I met Bissy when I was 24. But I met Martha probably when I was like 18, 19. I met Martha when I was a teenager. Like, you get me? And it's like, so I've known this girl or this person that's been my friend, boy or girl. It's been how many years? And because I've now gotten married, literally just because I've gotten married, no other, we didn't fall out, we didn't have an argument, we didn't have an affair, we didn't kiss one night in a club when back when I was a teenager, like nothing. This person that's like helped me shape who I am in a sense. Like we've done so many things together. Like I have to just lock that off purely because I got married. That you have to make that make sense to me. And like I said, and it's okay. Sorry, only because I got married and she's female. I could have gone other ways with that, and because she's a woman, it makes no sense. Whereas all the because there's a guy that I met when I was literally a day before I met Bissy, but because they're a guy and they've added not much to my life, I could be friends with them, but not Martha. Like, do you get me? It makes no sense.
Yeah. So what's your thoughts on this thing now, given Cal's very, very good explanation, I must add.
Okay. I hear you, and it's refreshing that you think that way, and I think I don't know, maybe it might be a case of like treating friendships different. I don't know. Maybe that's how you see it. So like because we've been friends for such a long time and all the rest of it, everything that you said. So like obviously coming from that perspective, it's like, oh, why would I just drop that person? But so for me, like I went through a process when I was actually getting rid of my guy friends. When I was actually getting rid of my guy friends. And so for me, like that's what I've grown up seeing. I've never seen like my dad having like I don't know, auntie so and so who just calls his phone only and is not friends with my mom. So I think because that's what I've been exposed to. So
Have you ever
even
seen your dad on Instagram?
he's not on Instagram.
Okay, carry on.
What are you trying to say?
Just because he doesn't do it, just because you've not seen your dad do it, it doesn't mean like you have to do it as well.
Okay. I get what you mean. But like for me, I think it's just like something that I would actually want to take on board in my marriage as well. And obviously, like if that works for you and your wife, then great. But yeah, for me, like if I want to have a different culture within within my marriage, I think I'm okay to do that kind of thing. I don't know if you actually answered any of your questions, but for me, I would still like stick to what I say because I still believe like there's so much truth to that for me, personally. But I think even our friendship, I feel like it's like a brother and sister type of thing. So like, yeah,
Ah,
I
so
don't
now
know.
it's brother and sister,
You're
yeah?
my brother. You're my little brother.
So that's the loophole, yeah?
You're my no. So
That's just my brother.
that's my
He's
bro.
good, man.
We're gonna start doing some DNA test on these things because at this rate.
Trust me.
So maybe like that's why it might be a bit different because I was actually successful getting rid of all the other friends.
Well, yeah, that's the. But see, that's kind of like that's part of the thing for me. It's like if you could just drop me like that, then we were never friends, man. Like if it's that easy, then we were truly never friends. Like, because obviously, like yeah, like I also had to like drop some things, but like that was when we started dating. Like not even because we got married. Like I had Snapchat. Like I mean, I had Snapchat. I had like certain people on Snapchat. Like you know when you'd go out, you'd meet this person, that person, or like just. I'm actually like baiting myself out here now. Well, this was a few years ago, so hopefully, yeah. Anyways, so yeah, like I had Snapchat and I deleted a lot of people off Snapchat, like a lot of girls on Snapchat. Actually, if I'm being honest with you, like specifically, I deleted a lot of girls on Snapchat just because, um, like I didn't want, any thoughts that I might have had before for these people to like keep being there. So I think for me, like the things that you do cut off are like the things that probably don't mean as much to you. I think that's fair. But if there's actually a person out there that was like a true friend to you, like I don't think just because they're a girl, you need to cut them off. But sorry, Queenie,
No,
I
it's
have
fine.
I have to caveat that by saying like I do understand the approach of Martha, of course. Like I get it. Like and to be honest with you, I don't really fully understand it. Like, do you know I don't really fully have an answer for, like, even just a simple answer of can a guy and a girl be friends? Like, I still think that's a bit of a wild answer. Like, a
What if they're
wild.
both in relationships? Like, let's say now she's married,
It
you're
it it
married.
it doesn't matter. Like,
Mm.
what? That, again, going back to like the thing, it's what's important is what do you two actually have? Like you and the so-called friend. Like say for example, me and Martha, as because we're both here. Like we actually had like a good friendship, like based on God and like and God some more.
Literally.
So I don't it's like that's a good foundation. So I don't think it was ever anything like flirtatious or like or anything too crazy. So that's why for me I think it can carry. But sorry,
This
going
is
back
why
to
you're brother. Like I told you, brother and sister.
if that makes you sleep better at night, that's good for you. Sorry, yeah, trying to see the other person's point of view. So I get it, and I wouldn't tell anyone to do what I do in the sense of because I am aware that that is the riskier um way to be, but because but the reason why I can only I can only say that for myself, and like I said, but that's because I know the relationships that I'm in, and I'm to the extent that you can know your own heart and your own mind. I'm kind of aware of my heart and my mind, you know. Like, do you get what I mean by that? Because obviously, the Bible says the heart is deceitfully wicked, and who can know it? And anyone listening to this and thinking, oh, he thinks he knows himself. Oh, yeah, like, but I don't know your relationship with the next girl, so I can't really be out here telling people, yo, fam, yeah, have friends with girls. It's all good. Just because you knew them before your wife, so why not keep them still? No, I wouldn't be out there preaching that because I'm aware of the dangers that that might possess. But as for me personally, and the people that have been in my life, male or female, I've kept them. The people that I think are valuable, um, male or female, like I say.
I think what it is when we speak in hypotheticals, sometimes it can be so easy to say one way or the other. Like, for your
Exactly.
instance, I'm going to cut them off or I'm not going to cut them off. But from a biblical stance of view, sometimes it's around like not allowing certain, like, I'm trying to hear both your points, not allowing certain doors to open and
Yeah.
there's a way in, but how you can prevent that prior to marriage is making sure that the way that your life and you're living your life is good indoors and outdoors. So I think I like the examples you were giving. Obviously there was a certain season where you were entertaining a lot of people and being in different places, so that was more of an adjustment within yourself, whether there was a third party or not. That was just the way you were moving. So if you then take that into marriage, the way that you have to adjust is cut those people off. But if you were already operating in such transparency, like even whatever friendships you have, you know what I mean? The different kind of adjustments. Because biblically speaking, it doesn't tell us not to be friends with the opposite sex, but we have to guard our hearts and we have to make sure that we're not. So if, for somebody else, if they know they're susceptible to flirting, even some people naturally flirt apparently, and then you invite something like that. So it's setting those boundaries for yourself. If I was to speak for myself personally, I know that I can be, when I say I'm friendly, but my friendly is innocent from my perspective. But for someone else, they might think, oh, she's being a bit overly whatever. So that's something that I have to sort within myself and I set boundaries. I'm not going to cut off male friends and whatnot, but I'm not going to, oh, I'm going to chill out with Barry by myself today. What are we doing? Barry's going to get the wrong idea. And in his head, we're probably in a relationship 6 months strong. But yeah, so I think maybe that's what I would say. Make sure that you've got a solid foundation in terms of your relationship with God. And then you get that revelation in terms of what you should. Because I think it would be a shame, like you're saying, to lose friends that add and edify you simply because they're the opposite sex. But then at the same
Um,
time, if you know your own family, Marths, that actually this is gonna cross a line, then
yeah, so for me, like I think my view on things, I'll never impose it on anyone. But like if I was to be in a relationship with someone, I would actually like say that maybe at the start or like at some point to see like if they disagree, then there's nothing wrong with that. Like, but just yeah. So if I'm closing my own doors, I don't know because like I've been working on this prior to that person actually being in my life as well. So it's something that I want to do. maybe it's a standard that I want to keep or something like that. So I will never impose it on other people, like each to their own kind of thing. But then for me, like in order for me to guard my own heart and my own kind of marriage as well. And I think there's another preacher that talks about like guardrails. So for me, that would be one of my guardrails to say like, okay, so these are the boundaries I would keep. And ideally, if I did, well, obviously I do have a male friend, I would want them to be like friends with my husband as well. So just I just don't want there to be like anything to worry. And I think often people think like, oh, maybe you might be a bit insecure, but I'm not insecure. I just don't want it. I just don't like it.
So it's so swiftly kind of linking into something else, because I liked the conclusion you both came into. I can see that we're all very like strong minded and we come in with our own frameworks of thinking. So I'll start with you, Kel. Did you feel like there's a sense of you that had to take a step back where you kind of had to sometimes lose in a way in marriage? Because obviously right now we don't have the other person. We can speak hypothetically. If that person comes in and da 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 da, we're not going to do this, but it's a different story when there is a person there who thinks differently from you. And yeah, how do you pick your battles?
Yeah. How do you pick your battles? Oh gosh. Got so many ways I could answer this. Do you know what? Yeah, so I don't know if you guys remember, but like there was a time when we all met up. Like, was it before lockdown or after lockdown? And then you guys asked me like a similar question, and then I started talking about yeah, I mean you said it like we are both strongly minded people. Well, I'm a strongly minded person, I'll speak for myself. Um and I think I have, yeah, framework is a good word. And like my wife's framework, Bissy, her name, Bissy, shout out Bissy. Love you, babes. Actually, that was purely a joke. But anyway, but I do anyways. Right, so what was I saying? Framework, yeah. So my framework is one way and Bissy's framework is very different. And that did have to involve a lot of adjustments, if I'm being honest, in terms of like how to be and even like how to think. Yeah, like so many things that we did clash on. And I did have to lose a lot. Well, I think to be honest with you, I took a position. I don't think Bitty's actually ever heard me say this to her, but I think my position now is like I just have to learn to lose a lot. And I get that position. And again, like these things I'm saying, they can be taken out of context. And I'm also trying to figure them out. Like I've only been married a year. So I'm still trying to figure these things out and maybe um so I can articulate it in a way that can be good for everyone and not dangerous for other people. Because like I say, all these things, like I know what these things mean in my mind, but I don't really know what it means in other people's minds. And I know how I example these things or like how I live these things out in my relationship, but I don't know how someone else might. Because even for me, like this mindset can be um um hard, can be a bit defeating or can make you sometimes feel a bit weak. But I think in the long run it's actually good. And that mindset is Christ in a sense of like the Bible tells us to like love our the Bible says husbands that we should love our wives like Christ loved the church, right? And the question then is like, how much did Christ love the church? And the answer to that is so much that he died for it, right? So position for me is like I literally have to die to any of my desires and any of my wants for the sake of my wife so that she can shine. Because that's what Christ did. Like Christ died so that the bride can be glorious. So that's my mindset. But like I say, and that means practically like like your wife wants to do this or that, and you might want to do that and that. Like not this and that anyways. But you just have to go with this and that. Do you get me? And like I say, like and over 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 again and still again. Like, do you get me? So, and that can be hard. And so like I said, I'm still trying to figure this out, like, because I mean, you also have to think about like your own happiness as well. Like, it's like I'm asking myself, yeah, this is gonna be so weird for Bissy to watch. I'm sat here like um asking myself questions like, to what extent are you actually meant to die? Like, for your wife to be glorious, right? You look at the Bible says all the time, right? Because Christ died all the time, right? And Christ would die over and over anyways. I think I am, do you know what? Yeah, I actually looked into this biblically. So, and I'm gonna do like a mini sermon. Because I was thinking about it, yeah, like, because do you guys remember when I said that to you, like back in the day, like when we was talking about this, and I was like, what's keeping me this? So this was before we got married. Like you guys was asking me like, what is it like to be in a relationship? And I was like, it's hard, man. It's hard work, and it's so hard that what's actually kept me in this is like Christ died for his bride. Like that's how much you have to keep sacrificing. My wife is pretty great, like in terms of like making life easy for me. And she does make life easy for me, but I think she's only able to make life easy for me when I lose. Like I think it would be hard for her to make life easy for me when I'm actually winning. Like if that makes sense.
And I think what you're saying sounds like, I want to say Ephesians 5:25. I can't remember. Don't quote me.
My girl's there already, baby.
But yeah, it's like, it's almost that thing. And it's like, if you love your wife like Christ loved the church, and then she submits to you, it's almost like you're working. There's no I'm winning. It's we're winning, because it's just like a love cycle even. I like what you're saying, because some people take submitting differently, and they think they that dictatorship type of way, like my way or the highway. But I love the way that you do it. Obviously there's going to be elements where you are the one that's making that decision. There's certain things which are like, no, we've got to do it this way, and I'm sure she will submit to that, but she will submit to you more respectfully, because she knows that there's other times that you actually allow her to have her viewpoint. So I like what you're saying. Absolutely biblical.
I feel like one of the biggest things I've learned in marriage is like, if you actually let her do her, your life is going to be 100 times.
Happy wife, what's it? Happy life?
Happy wife, happy life.
Yes.
It's so true. It's actually ridiculously true. It's crazy. Yeah,
so me and Martha, we're going to enjoy. I know, same.
Huh?
I'm thinking.
Sorry?
We look forward to marriage because what you're saying, because we're with the happy wives.
I'm gonna run that man. You're not eating today unless.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you want to hear more from Kel, check out his podcast where he speaks with real life Christians having real life conversations. And if you're looking to revamp your wardrobe, check out Martha's personal blog where she shares what she wears to work. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Until next time.